Good morning, everyone. You're all very welcome to another trader interview here with the Alpha Capital Group. At this moment in time, we are here with Alexander Amos, one of our original funded traders, with ourselves here dating back many, many months. So Alex here is going to talk us through his trading style. We're going to have a conversation about his history. And of course, we're going to get cracking with the interview this morning. So, Alex, I know obviously you're from the UK. You're UK based. Do you want to maybe talk me through a bit about yourself, about your history, and how you got into or how you fell into trading?
Yeah, I got into trading some time ago. It was about 2 years ago, over 2 years now. My mates, whom I worked with, told me about trading, and he said, "Oh," so I said, "Okay, I'll give it a try." So he took me through, and I started working with him. So when I was working with him, and I have my broker whom I deal with in terms of mortgage and loans and other stuff. So I was discussing with him about trading, and he said to me, "Oh, I've got this fellow who also I work with, and he's been trading for a very long time. I would love to meet him." I said, "Okay, no problem." So he gave me the number, and I contacted him. So through him, I went through training for like 12 weeks training.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then after that, he told me about some software which his friend used to have while he was working with the bank.
Yeah.
So he said that would show me a lot of stuff. It would tell me where the market is going.
Yeah.
It would draw my trade lines. It would do everything for me. So I bought that software, so which I've been using.
Okay.
Coupled with following the news and you know studying the markets, interacting with friends, you know, getting ideas from friends what the market is doing. So as a result of that, I've been able to trade, I've been able to understand some few candlesticks, which I still need to, look into some more candlesticks because it's very important. Because sometimes it just tells you what the market is going to do if you know the stakes by, the names and what they're meant to do. So I have some few ones which I know, but it's very important to have more knowledge about the candlesticks.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. So you've been trading with us really since how long? A bit? Is it
Uh,
April or May?
yeah, I've been trading with you since April, not last year. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. And how many payouts have you received?
Actually, April this year. Yeah,
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I presume you've got a number of payouts from us already. I presume, yes.
A number of what?
Payouts, withdrawals.
Paid. Oh,
Yeah.
paid. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I've got up to like I haven't got paid last week. So yeah, I've been paid severally.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah,
Good.
I've got paid more than 7 times if I can remember.
7, 8 times.
You know?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, that's it's all progress, isn't it? It's all progress.
Yeah,
Every trader has their own journey. Every trader looks for
absolutely.
different things. That's really, really important. And I suppose where you're coming from with the I suppose your history and how you fell into trading. Obviously, the institutional side, looking at that
Yeah.
software, I suppose, is really, really important because it's continually adapting
Mm.
how the institutions trade, obviously with the algorithms and the algos, and trying
Mm.
to gauge and fend around that, particularly with the volatility we saw it last week in the trading. So I suppose if you were to say your strategy, then would you trade off of supply and demand, support and resistance? Are you trend orientated, um,
Well,
or is it just more physical candlesticks on maybe a shorter time frame?
well,
What
most of the times I follow the trends. I follow the trend most of the times, and most of the times I wait for a retest and get into a trade. But sometimes the reverse is the case. But yeah, as long as I can, I always follow the trend because my mentor told me follow the trend no matter what.
Yeah,
Because if it's not broken, if it goes up, it's still gonna come down. If it comes down, it's still gonna go up.
yeah,
So just stay with the trend. It's very, very important. I
yeah,
try as much as I can to stay with the trend because I know if I'm with the trend,
yeah,
I've got less to worry about. Yeah.
yeah. And I know you mentioned there the news there a moment ago.
Mm,
Would you
mm.
trade news? Do you take fundamental analysis into consideration, or are you just solely a technical guy and looking at the technical side of it?
I take the news into very serious importance because if the news is coming on like a day the news is going to come up, I follow it and I say, okay, well, if I don't have any trade, I might as well wait to hear from the news before I make any decision. But
Yeah,
sometimes when I'm in the trade and I'm running down, I will say, okay, well, from the news, like I think about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I
yeah,
was really, really in bad shape. But then I know from the news it's gonna go my way. I said, no problem. I sit
yeah,
back and wait,
yeah.
you know,
See,
because I read through the news and it tells me what it's gonna do.
yeah,
So and I said, okay, this is my favor this time. So I'm gonna wait. And
and
as soon as the news kick in, bang, I was straight in profits.
lovely.
You know,
And
yeah,
so you would see yourself as quite a patient guy then, I guess, when you're kind of gauging news, when you're gauging the fundamentals. I presume
yeah.
you're kind of very much take a step back, take a logical approach to the markets, and then being reactive rather than trying to guess or foresee or try and
No,
yeah. I think that's really interesting as well because obviously with us, different traders, different styles,
yeah,
and I think these calls are quite interesting so that other people can see how or what to look for as well.
yeah.
So I suppose with the news then, how do you handle your emotions? Like, are you very much risk orientated, set allocation of risks? How do you control your emotions? How do you control your risk?
Well, sometimes things really don't get your way, but I try to take a deep breath. I try to relax. I try to have a drink, and sometimes I just go for a walk. Sometimes I just go off the screen, go off the screen for a little while, and you know, hope for the best. And because I've already made my plans, and I've seen the market is going this way, then all of a sudden it's going bad. Then I have to think about it thoroughly. Sometimes I discuss with my peers. I say, "Look, man, what do you think is going on?"
Yeah,
Because this market should be going this way, but it's going the way. But again, sometimes I check to see where the market is going to end. Then I look at my buffers and say, okay, I have enough to hold the market if it comes down up to this place, which
yeah,
is the liquidity zone or something.
yeah,
Then I said, okay, no problem. But if I don't have enough, I just take my losses.
yeah. And what would you do? Would you trade higher time frame then, or would you be kind of mixed in between higher and lower time frame, or
Yeah,
what's your general approach?
actually, I look at every time frame up to 4 hours, and I look at the daily time frame also, what it's saying. You know,
Okay,
then I look at the 15 minutes time frame, even 30 minutes time frame. For instance, if I have to deal with gold, if I'm trading gold, I look up to even 5 minutes time frame because
yeah,
with 5 minutes it will do a lot, you
yes,
know.
yeah,
So I check all the time frame and I say what it's doing. If it says, oh, on all time frames is a buy, then probably it's going to buy if even if you're selling at the time, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I actually look at all time frames up to
Right.
maximum of 4 hours. Yeah.
Okay. And I know you mentioned gold there as well. So
Yeah.
what would you see yourself to be the most I suppose primary traded assets? Do you trade FX? Would you trade gold? Do you trade indices?
Not too fan of indices, but yes, FS and gold, but sometimes when gold is unstable, I try to stay away,
It
you
can be
know.
it can be quite
I,
tricky. Gold can be
yeah,
quite tricky sometimes. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Then I just wait for a better time to come.
Yeah. And I suppose with that as well, Alex, when you're looking obviously around news and your strategy and your structure,
Yeah.
do you, I presume before you went live with us, you would have back tested, you would have fine-tuned your plan or your structure that you're looking for, whether it's the trend analysis, whether it's the multi-time frame approach. I presume all of that would have been back tested before you went into live market conditions, I presume.
Yes, yes.
Very good.
It's a definite because,
Yeah. Yeah.
I look through everything. Over the weekend, I've looked through my trades and see what it's doing and then discuss with my mates and said, okay, so we know what the plan is, and we just stick with it.
Interesting. Interesting. Really. Right. Interesting. Brilliant. Brilliant. And I suppose how do you then, if you're, let's say, buying gold today or you're selling gold today, how do
Yeah.
you marginalize and calculate your risk? Like, are you right the type of guy who says, right, one trade, 1%? Do you scale in and do you take multiple positions? How would you kind of
Yeah.
take an approach of entering a trade as well?
Well, if I have to do gold today, for instance, I always scalp gold because, it goes up and down. And sometimes you're waiting for your profit to hit, your TP to hit, then it's back down again. So what I normally do with gold, I go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I see gold is really moving fast, I could hold for a little while to get to
Interesting.
my TP. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
other than that, I just open multiple position. Once I'm in profit, I'm out.
Yeah. I
Wait for
suppose.
the market to pull back again, then I go
Yeah.
in again. So I just do that way in trading golds.
It's quite interesting because I suppose then it becomes down, I suppose, the situation analysis because every circumstance is different.
Yeah.
So rather than having, I suppose, a set approach of, oh, I need to do this all the time, I think you're probably gauging the price action as it develops and then making
Hmm.
decisions. Would I be? I presume I'd be right in saying that, kind of making decisions as the price action develops.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, interesting, fascinating, fascinating. So we've obviously talked about the positions. We've talked about the risk management. We've talked about obviously your style of trading. So you're obviously kind of very technical, but you're taking the fundamentals into consideration as well. I think that's really, really interesting. You've mentioned your back testing. How do you I suppose the next question I suppose I could ask you for on the behalf of people is, do you journal your trades? Do you look at your metrics? Do you constantly review your analytics? Or are you just happy to say, well, no, I have control of my risk and I'm making clear decisions as the price action develops?
Well, I look at my trade as previously because sometimes we say, okay, um, this is where the market is going.
Hmm.
This is where it came up to. Probably it's going to be going back up. So I really look back on my trades, on the pairs because what I'm trying to do now is to try as much as I can to focus on the particular pairs. So I could go in and out either ways. But sometimes you look at those pairs, they're not doing anything good.
Yeah.
It's just jumping into something that is going to get you something quickly, and you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's
uh,
quite interesting. Like I think with us as well, because we do have so many different style of traders,
yeah,
different asset classes, different structures, different time frames. So everyone is different, and I suppose it's really good when we can have these interviews because we're kind of learning. You're listening to different people's stories.
yeah.
You're listening to how different people approach the markets from either a risk, from a technical, from a fundamental perspective. I think it's really, really interesting. And I suppose the big thing then is from, I suppose from an overall trading perspective, um, with your background, how would you define or what do you think constitutes to a good trader? Or what do you think a good trader needs to have to be successful? You that has been funded, you that's taken a number of withdrawals.
Mm.
What do you think is that edge that traders need to have in order to get funded but stay funded and obviously be taking those payouts?
Well, I think what a good trader should do is to be able to minimize and calculate your risk because I know sometimes we get carried away, but
Hmm.
if you can say, okay, this is what I'm happy to lose today, then once you get in there, you're out. Then sometimes with the profits, you can say, okay, this is what I'm going to make today. But again, sometimes if the market is really good, I
Yeah,
just stay in it and just take as much as I can because,
yeah,
the rainy day will come, at some points. But once you've built up a little bit more, you
yeah,
have less to worry about because you're playing with your profits. But other than that, I think a very good trader is for to be a very good trader is to deal with the psychological part of it.
yeah.
Because the market can be really, really crazy
Can,
sometimes.
can be brutal sometimes as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And I suppose then, if you were saying to yourself now, as a new trader starting out,
yeah.
what would you encourage traders to focus on? What would be kind of looking back on your journey, your
Yeah.
experiences? If you met a new trader now today or tomorrow, what would you be telling them to start off with? Where would you recommend they start off with?
I would definitely recommend that every new trader and even the old trader should focus on the candlesticks. It's very important because that's what's telling us what the market is doing. The candlesticks are very important. The time frames are very important because sometimes you look at an hour time frame, it could be saying a sell, but 30 minutes time frame, is already buying. So there's possibility that by the time the market builds up, you might not be getting a buy in our time frame, because already the market is start building up from, So it's very important. The time frames are very important. The candlesticks are very important. The risk is very important. I know a lot of people trade with risk to reward, but I really, it doesn't really work out for me. So most of the times I just come in and take what I get and out.
So you're very much like
scalping.
So when you sit out there now, you don't have a set requirement that you don't need to have a risk of 1, reward of 3. You're just happy that if you can get into the mindset of constantly accruing and growing your account, that's your approach. Okay,
yes,
interesting. So then, do you place more of an emphasis then, Alex, on profitability, win rate? How do you gauge them with all of those things then to make sure that you're able to grow your account, but obviously making sure that you're not faltering on the risk on the back end? I presume you've got certain controls built into your trading plan to say, well, I'm going to trade a few times a day, but obviously not allowing yourself to overtrade and then obviously blow up.
Yeah, actually, for myself, sometimes if the market is good, I could stay longer. But if the market is not so good, I just want to come out as quick as I can.
Yeah.
If it's to take my losses, I just take it and say, oh, that's it for that day.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it all depends on how the market is doing, because if I have the chance to take as much as I can in a day, I will never say no, because I know some days will come where I'll struggle, then already I have a backup. So I've got less to worry about.
Yeah. I think that's quite interesting because it's like, again, different types of traders. Some traders can be very mechanical. Like I know myself, I'm quite a mechanical style. I'm kind of process driven. I look for my entries, I look for my exits, and I'm very kind of OCD like with the parameters that I look for. But I suppose looking at different approaches, because again, it's not a case of a one shoe fits all approach. Every trader is different. Every trader different things, and I think it's quite an important aspect. I'm sure that you would agree with on that.
Yeah, I did put my take profits, but sometimes you see that the market is struggling to get there.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wait, I'm out already.
Yeah.
But once the momentum is good, I wait, I hold on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Brilliant. Well, I know you're a bit of a famous man, Alex, amongst the Capital Group, because I know on the recent night out, there was a wee chant going about you. Although I wasn't there at the night, I believe I was chatting your name. One of the most successfully funded traders here at Alpha Capital as well. So
thank you.
Will we share the video and give viewers a little snippet of what was the video from our restaurant night out at the beginning of December? Can we share?
Thank you. Yes, of course. Why not? Anytime.
I'll share the video with the folk.
Okay.
Those who are watching along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice time, it's a nice time out. And I'm definitely thinking, we're looking for another time like this again,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the goal of the business is always to have, it's not just about the serious side. It's not just all about process trading. I think you have to have that social element.
You have to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think as well, I'm sure you probably agree, trading at times can be a lonely place. If you're sitting at home, like anyone, like most traders, it can be quite lonely, I'm sure, as you would attest to. And I think having those nights out, those fun events, I think is really good as well. It boosts morale, it boosts the community, of course, and obviously you can interact with different traders, hear their stories as well, but that's really, really brilliant, Alex. It's obviously lovely to officially meet you.
You too.
And definitely looking forward to obviously seeing you in person in London now, obviously in the new year.
Absolutely. We're looking, he told me over the weekend, Alex told me, we're looking at going for the horse racing sometime in March, next year. But I don't know. But I'm happy, because I've been funded with different brokers in time past, but I've not been able to meet somebody in person, if you understand.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, I'm so excited to meet somebody like, yourself, somebody like Alex, somebody like George,
Yeah.
Even if I walk past the street tomorrow, I'll say, oh, that's George,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've met him in person.
Yeah.
But all the other accounts I've gotten in previously, I've
Yeah.
not been able to meet anyone,
Yeah. I think it's important as well from an organizational perspective that it's important to meet the people behind the business, I think, and
Yes,
grow those
yes.
relationships. Like I worked in investment management before, and I think it's important from a client perspective that they need to build trust in the organization. They need to obviously have these occasions where they can meet the people behind the business, because I think that builds integrity, that builds trust. I'm sure you probably
Yes, yes.
definitely,
It
definitely.
build more trust in the people you're dealing with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Well, look, Alex, thank you very much for
Thank you
joining
so
us
much for
this
your
morning.
time today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, have a lovely Christmas.
And you too.
Best of luck for 2023. And I'll be
Thank
looking
you so
forward
much.
to seeing you at these
Oh, yes,
events.
definitely.
Take care, Alex.
All
Have a
right.
good
All the
day.
best.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.